And welcome back to WDEF News 12 this morning. It's Friday. It's time for How Does Your Garden Grow? And if you got a question about your garden, feel free to give us a call. Tim Holcomb is joining us from Holcomb Garden Centers. You can call him at 756-1212. Get in contact with him if you have a question. You can do so right now. Again, 756-1212. And before we get to the callers, first off, we'd like to say welcome to the show. We appreciate you stopping by here this morning. And you brought a couple of knockout roses. We've talked about these for years now. They have a little bit of an anniversary here, but to me, they're just absolutely wonderful because they're so easy. What is the significance of knockout roses?
Well, 10 years ago this year, the original knockout came out, and since then there's double red, double pink, oranges, and yellows, and whites. But the significance is they're so easy to take care of. I mean, they're essentially maintenance-free. They're self-cleaning. You don't have to cut off the dead blooms. And so you plant them, give them food and water, and enjoy blooms from April to November.
Wow.
It's revolutionized the landscape industry. Used to, landscapers would not touch a rose, and now they do mass plantings of knockout roses in almost every job.
And as you mentioned, there are just a plethora of colors. There's so many different colors that are out there now.
And the knockout family of roses has encouraged other breeders to come up with shrub roses. The Julia Child and the Living Easy are yellow and orange that have done very well. So the knockouts and other shrub roses do very, very well. All
right, we're going to get to our phone callers. Our first one this morning is Linda. Good morning to you, Linda.
Good morning.
Hi. Good morning.
Go ahead.
Tell Luther congratulations.
We do. We'll tell him over and over again. He deserves it.
I want to know when I can put my house flowers out to keep them out so I don't have to keep putting them in, bringing them in and out.
Well, I would think after the weekend's over, you should be able to do that without any problem. They prefer it to be 40, 45 and above, and we should be at that after the weekend.
All right, moving right along. Joyce is our next phone caller. Good morning to you, Joyce.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi. Actually, I have two questions.
Okay.
The first is about a gardenia plant that I bought.
Yes, ma'am.
After I brought it home, the leaves are turning brown at the ends and also a black look. What is that?
Well, if it's on the very tips, it could be just the water you're using has fluoride or chlorine in it. Let your tap water sit for 24 hours, and that will let a lot of that fluoride and chlorine evaporate, or you can use rainwater. If the leaves are turning yellow at the bottom, it means it's keeping it too wet. But what you're describing sounds like could just be the chlorine and fluoride.
And Joyce, you had another question?
Yes, it's about asparagus.
Yes, ma'am.
I planted some asparagus seeds for asparagus, and they've come up. Some of them have, a lot of them have.
Okay.
And according to the package, plant it outside for a year. And the second year, you transplant it. Can this be left in the same location permanently?
It can be. It doesn't have to be transplanted. The main thing is it'll be the second year before you can start to harvest it. The first year you're going to let it grow, let the roots mature and establish, and then you can dig it up and thin it out and make a bigger bed if you choose, but it'll be the second year before you start cutting it to harvest it.
Once again, 756-1212. We're answering your gardening questions this morning. Our next caller is Betty. Good morning to you, Betty.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning.
I have a couple questions about roses.
Yes, ma'am.
And other plants. My rose bush, one of them, has little teeny white things just all over the stems and
especially
the leaves.
on the new growth.
So I'd like to know how often to fertilize my flowers and bushes.
Okay. The little white things on your roses most likely are aphids. The new growth that they've put out has attracted a lot of insects. Now is the time to feed them, and we have a food with insect control or insecticide blended in with it. And if you'll put that on now and do it about every 6 weeks throughout the summer, it'll control aphids, spider mites, and thrips and keep that rose blooming all summer long without any problem.
And I think the next one was how often should she fertilize just normal flowers?
Depending on the food, but usually about 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay. All right, our next phone caller is Richard. Good morning to you, Richard.
Hi, Tim. Do you know how to get rid of wild violet in your lawn?
Oh, yes, sir. They can be tough, and most weed killers won't do it, but Fertilome has a product called Weed Free Zone that will do it very well. There's also a product by High Yield called Turflawn Ester if you have a fescue lawn. But if you don't know what kind of grass you have in your lawn, the Fertilome Weed Free Zone will take care of violets, ground ivy, plus the easy-to-control weeds.
So great questions this morning, but unfortunately we are running out of time. We're going to put the information on the screen where you're more than welcome to get a hold of Tim Holcomb and his wonderful staff at Holcomb Garden Center. He's got a couple of locations at 5513 Highway 153 in Hickson and 2705 Battlefield Parkway in Fort Oglethorpe, or you can look him up on the web at holcombgc.com. You can also sign up for Is it weekly newsletter?
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday, a newsletter all about gardening. Stop by his website for a whole lot more. Tim, we appreciate you stopping by this morning.
Thank you.
Folks, we'll take a short break. We have a lot more to come up next.